What's going on? A-pluses, sci-fighters, nerd mixers around the world. It's your boy, Indy Uchiha, and I'm bringing you Nerd Mix Live, episode 5. 5. 5. Yeah, I'm back at it. And I'm here to do what I've always done for the past 4 episodes. I went to my favorite comic shop. I'm gonna get used to that and point to the left, point right. I'm gonna get that down. Creative Comics, to pick up the comics that I wanted to check out this week. Although we did have a bunch drop. Money was a little tight. We did have a bunch of comics drop. A bunch of crossovers like the Looney Tunes and DC characters. Rick and Morty, the Dungeons and Dragons, Venom, First Host. But money was tight, so I picked the ones that I actually wanted to check out. So let me show these to you guys right now. I'm digging this whole Spider-Geddon thing, the Edge of Spider-Geddon. So I had to pick up Edge of Spider-Geddon number 2. This looks interesting. It seems like to follow a girl who has like a spider bot or something like that. Extermination number 2. I'm really digging these stories, and both of these I think I'm gonna bring y'all like reviews on to check out. Hunt for Wolverine, Dead Ends number 1. The only one I really liked of the Hunt for Wolverines was the Adamantium Agenda, and I think that's just because the characters were involved: Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and everything like that. Tony Stark. That was the story that interests me. A lot of them were found lacking. Just the stories just didn't hold up, but it's all leading up to, you know what I'm saying, Wolverine coming back. And for me, this was the highlight of the week. This was the big book of the week, in my personal opinion. And that's the end. And look at that cover. That cover's amazing. The end of Shatter Grid. And it also introduces the new team that I guess is going on in Boom Comics for Mighty Morphin 31 and beyond. Beyond the Grid. And there's a look at the team right there. So this was a really good event. I do believe over on A Plus Opinions, if you go follow on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everything there, right there at A Plus Opinions. Adam's a real big proponent of Power Rangers. Power Rangers is what built his page, is what he's based off of, but he does cover everything nerdy geek pop culture. But it's a huge Power Ranger following over there. So I decided that each issue I purchased an extra copy so that us over there at A Plus Opinions, we could raffle off the entire Shatter Grid storyline. So you're getting like Go-Go Power Rangers 8 through 12. You're getting Mighty Morphin 24 through 31, I believe. And then you're even getting the 2 annuals and the free comic book day issue. And also a print that was giving out exclusively at Creative Comics for the midnight launch of the Power Rangers book coming out. That was custom made. It's a really cool print. Head over. Make sure you subscribe to A Plus Opinions. Make sure you head over there. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And jump on that to see when or how the raffle is going to take place, and actually be able to get images of everything that's going to be given away. So check that out. But before you do anything, before we get started here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you subscribe to the page. You help us out, but hit that notification bell so you know every time we put new content up. There's new music coming. There's Let's Plays coming, and as always, once a week you get Nerd Mix Live. Anime Assembled, we'll be moving over to the Syfytology network for a little bit, because it's just easier to work over there for right now. So you can catch the new episode of Anime Assembled over there the end of next week. So it'll be the first week of September, end of next week. And you can always check out the last episodes of Anime Assembled right here on NerdMix. We're a big family. It's like a pattern family, so we all help each other out. So without further ado, we got a lot of stuff we're going to get into today. So let's get into it. I had a conversation with one of my bros, Trail. He's an artist that I still work with. We have an EP that's coming out together. But his wife, even though she don't like it, she's a big nerd. She's really into the Arrowverse TV shows. She's into the comics. She does the Marvel DC fame. And we had a little talk about the Ruby Rose situation. and things that happen when you're typecast as what a nerd and stuff is supposed to look like. Because a lot of us in our day to day, I'm not like this day to day, but you wouldn't walk down the street and just know what I'm into by, you know what I'm saying, what I got on. It's really just lately since I started doing my own stuff that I actually want to wear that I like, that I really started kicking it with the nerd armor and all that. You know what I'm saying? So you can get your nerd armor. You can get this shirt and more at my NerdMIx Shop. So you know what I'm saying? Make sure you keep up with your nerd armor. We got a lot of good gear up there. I am setting up a separate page for like stickers and just little collectibles and stuff like that for y'all to check out. So make sure you go check out that Etsy.com shop /NerdMix. Make sure you guys check that out. But without further ado, here's that conversation we had, little interview with Miss Trail and Miss Kiki. So be right back at you guys. It's a nerd mix.
What up?
What's going on? Sci-fighters, A-pluses, nerd mix around the world. We're right back. And this is something I've been wanting to talk to about a while. I kind of went over it a little bit on an earlier episode of Nerd Mix, but I actually got a couple of guests that have opinions about what's going on with the situation. If you've been living under a rock, it's the only way you don't know what's happening. Everybody who's down with the Arrowverse knows that the crossover this year takes place in Gotham City, revolves around Supergirl, Arrow, and the Flash, and it's introducing our first Batman character, our mainline Batman character in Batwoman, Kate Kane herself, the Jewish lesbianic superhero that has rose to popularity because of the traits that her character has. Now, the person that was cast to play her was out of left field. Is nobody we thought it was going to be. I honestly thought it was going to be one of the little CWettes who show was canceled and they were just going to transfer over, kind of like they do other people all the time. But they cast homegirl Ruby Rose from the Triple X3 fame. She was in that Mega Shark movie that just came out, Orange is the New Black, bunch of movies. But it seems there's been a little bit of backlash on what's been going on with her. The other day, her Twitter account was deactivated just days after she announced that she was cast as Batwoman for the Arrowverse. Rose, who is openly gay, she came out when she was 12, but she identifies as gender fluid, was just smashed with an onslaught of criticism as soon as she announced that she was going to be Batwoman, who in DC canon is, like I said, a lesbian of Jewish descent. I said deceit. So, you know, red hair, fair skin, and everything like that. And just to let you know some of the negative things that people were saying, at MG, I guess it's supposed to be at Maggie Danvers. Okay, but casting Ruby Rose as Batwoman truly is a big fuck you to all the lesbian fans. Like, they don't care about the rep. They just want to cast a lesbian to have good press so they can just give it to her because she's well known and liked by straight girls. Another person said, and I got this off the Huff Post, not only does Ruby Rose not identify as a lesbian, but she's not Jewish. So they basically lied about wanting an actor that represented the diversity to stay true to who Batwoman is, and instead just picked a hot white person that isn't too gay to offend the straights. Another person said, I'm disappointed that Ruby Rose was cast as Batwoman, considering it's a complete erasure of Kate Kane's Jewishness. They should have cast a Jewish lesbian to play a Jewish lesbian character. Now, we've been having a lot of this going on lately. And this is Ruby Rose is an Australian actor, as I said, came out when she was 12 and had to deal with this for a long time. And being from Australia, where from what I've known and what I've read, really isn't okay with the gays. You know what I'm saying? So she had to deal with a totally different thing, thinking that coming to America that they were going to be open to everything that came on. So she left Twitter to work on her next two projects, and she basically said, if you need me, I'll be on my bat phone. Now there are people that support her, like this one cat who said, so lesbian actor Ruby Rose playing Batwoman equals outrage. Straight actor Jack Whitehall playing a gay character in a Disney movie equals outrage. Can there be some consistency in the outrage, please? Because it's hard to keep up with them. Now, to me, there's been plenty of people who haven't been gay or lesbian playing gay or lesbian or gays playing straight roles. Doogie Howser on How I Met My Mother, How I Met Your Mother. You know what I'm saying? Robin Williams in The Birdcage. Wesley Snipes, To Wan Fu. And we never see them have an issue with a straight person portraying a gay person, but they're going to have a problem with a lesbian portraying a lesbian just because she sees us as gender fluid. I mean, she likes women. To me, you should be championing this, getting behind it, because you actually have some type of representation on a big time, you know what I'm saying, evening show that gets plenty of eyes on it. So right now, I want to bring in one of my brothers from another mother, Trail, Mr. Thirsty himself, Mr. Imprint Group himself, and his lovely wife, Miss Kiki. Are you with me? Are you riding? No, but for real, because it's something else I want to put on top of this. Because you look at us, if you look at us in the street and the way we grew up and the things that we go through, we don't look like we're into nerd and pop culture. And it's the same thing with this other thing. Why does it have to be a certain look or feel for you to be down with that type of group? So let me get Trail on in here and get some of his thoughts about what's going on. So what do you think about what we're talking about, my man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Um, I mean, the way it looked, man, I'm liking where it's going in the first place. You know, I'm in and out with it. My wife is on it way more than me. You know what I mean? So it's like she's dominating the TV, and if it's on, it's on. I'm watching it. You know, so when I heard about this big backlash that's going on about Batwoman, it's just like it seemed kind of unfair because you made a real good point when you said that you have an actual lesbian portraying a lesbian. So it's like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Is anybody gonna say anything about a black man playing a black man?
Well, I think
you know,
the issue with it is now the lines are so different, blurred on gender specifics. I'm sorry for not having the correct term, but I guess there's levels. And again, excuse me because I'm not real knowledgeable on the subject, but
right?
I guess there's different levels to being a lesbian, and she's not lesbian enough to play the part because straight men still like her and straight girls still identify with her.
Which is really something, man. It's like more. It's like a catch 22. You know what I mean? Because damn if she do, damn if she don't. You know, and then when it comes to her actual race or demographics and all that, you know, that shouldn't really play a part in it either because like you have uh, um, what is his name? Idris Alba. He played. Shut up.
Idris Elba. Don't brutalize his name. I'm not trying to get my show canceled. There will be women tearing me down if I let you do that.
Hey, okay, I was corrected. However you say his name, you know what I mean. But the way you look at it, like you know, uh, he can play any role, and it's not a problem. You know, I never heard him getting crashed for playing that role he did in what was it, the Daddy's Girls. But why would Daddy's Little Girls? Well, there's no reason to. Well, I mean, like to question for that role. In reality, that movie was really the reality for some men in the world that people don't get to see. You always see single mother. Mm-hmm. So him playing that single father to three girls,
a black single father at that, taking care of 3 girls and struggling and working hard to provide for them. Like that was something different for people to see. That was more so a positive thing as opposed to a negative.
Right, and so is the Batwoman thing, because everybody.
Oh, I got something with Idris Elba that you can actually relate to that. The backlash that he's catching for possibly being the next James Bond.
That's the problem now. Yep. And you know what that is? That's the color of his skin that makes that a problem. You know, it's not where he's from at all. They don't care about that because he already has the accent. He could pull that off.
What? Yeah, I get you. James Bond should be an English. That should be the only thing that you have, problem that you have. He should be an Englishman. I don't care if he's brown, yellow, exactly. You know what I'm saying, white. As long as he's English, I'm cool. Or it better be somebody with an incredible English accent. But as long as he's got that accent, I'm down with it.
Yeah, he'll pull it off. I think he'll do a great job. So, you know, I think he would.
I think he would too, because it was just out.
Man, he can do anything.
But you got to think about, I don't think with that it's necessarily people having a problem with him being a black man. It's people don't like change. And to see somebody else play a different role where you see multiple movies of one person playing it, and then all of a sudden it's somebody new, like it fucks you up. Like just like when in a lot of series that I watch, like when characters like swap out, I'm like, wait, who the fuck is this? And it take me like a few episodes to see if I could to gauge if I really like this actor as opposed, you know, to the other actor. Like if you ever watch like Smallville, like with Superman, like the TV series, I was really expecting him at one point to be Superman in one of the movies, and then they came with a new Superman. I was like, wait, that's not Superman. That's not the one from Smallville, but he still fit the criteria. He was 6 foot tall, something country ass white boy, but it wasn't the same person, you know.
I definitely get what you're saying on that, but where that comes down to the capability of the actor. As long as the person can act, you're good. The reason you didn't miss a beat when Black Aunt Viv decided she wanted to bleach her skin one season, is because the lady who replaced her was able to act the part.
She didn't though. In my
opinion, wasn't as good.
In my opinion, she wasn't as good as the original Viv at all.
But she still.
She was very mediocre in that role. Like when they switched Vivs, I was like, oh, okay. Like it wasn't their relationship as a married Phil and Viv, the new Viv, it was very, you could tell it was forced. And the chemistry on camera with the two of them wasn't like it was with the original Viv. And that had nothing, and to me, with me, that had nothing to do with color. It was just like her acting just wasn't as good.
Now, see, I think that has more to do, when that happened, I think that has more to do with the writing, because there were issues when she got there where they started to have a little separation in their, you know what I'm saying, marriage, where it wasn't the same relationship because they had been married for so long. The kids got older. They were dealing with different things. So when I look at those two women play that part, I don't look at them and compare. I look at them in their own boxes. Phil and Viv's relationship was totally at a different time in their lives than what it was when Will first got there and you had, you know what I'm saying, the other Aunt Viv. So that's the way I look at things.
I guess what you're saying is she missed that pizzazz.
Yeah, that's like
that little, the little flame.
I get you that. That was more and I think that's because she personally relates more to that Aunt Viv than, you know what I'm saying, the other Aunt Viv.
You trying to say I'm feisty?
No, I didn't say that.
Not out loud.
Right. I'll wait till I get off air and then I'll say that.
So what? Okay, so what do you think about it?
About the Ruby Rose?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, with this whole Ruby Rose situation, the media completely.
No, she's not feisty at all.
With me being a completely straight woman, when I saw her on Orange is the New Black, I had to question my sexuality. She is sexy as hell. Okay, I can see
She has a husband. I don't know if she knows that yet.
Both sides of the problems that people are having with it. On the first hand, it's like, okay, she's not white, she's not whatever Jewish, and she's not like what the original Batwoman is supposed to be. But she playing a role. How many, Jewish gay women who are actually good actors and that have had that experience to be able to pull off that role? Like, let that woman get her money. But on the other hand, people that are complaining with the LGBTQ community, they tend to be very undervalued in society. So with them casting somebody who doesn't necessarily identify as being lesbian, I can see them seeing that being a slap in the face to them, because it's like, oh, well, why not? If she's supposed to be a lesbian, why not find somebody who is a lesbian? Like, you guys are always trying to put tweaks and different type of perks into our sexuality and whatever, and you're willing to find somebody who doesn't fully identify with us to play us. So
I totally understand that.
I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, I understand I definitely understand where they're coming from, and I can understand why they feel the same way. But exactly. attack a woman for going for a casting, performing the best, getting the job, and this is my thing. She campaigns harder than almost anybody else for your cause. If you can have somebody who's on print, who's not even real, and you take that and you use it as your shield, and you get behind that to say this character represents me. If she acts exactly like that character, why can't she represent you? Because I'm sorry, Stephen Amell's version of Oliver Queen, brown hair. He's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not blonde. Barry Allen isn't blonde. I mean, it's a lot of things that I don't like that goes on with the television shows. I didn't throw an outrage when the guy who plays Barry Allen wasn't the one cast when Ezra Miller got cast in the Justice League movie. You know what I'm saying? Of the Flash. It's plenty of cuts I don't like. I don't like the way, even though it's a great show, how Black Lightning seems to just go right along with the stereotype. Even though I watch Power religiously, I don't like how the show fits the stereotype.
I know, especially with Ghost old punk ass from the very first season. First, it was only one season, but the very first episode, I couldn't stand him because they made it seem like every well-to-do black man is cheating on his wife with a woman of a different race, and it was kind of like, oh, okay. And then there you go, that stereotype that all black men are adulterers. They just can't be faithful to the woman that they have, and they got to sell drugs on the low. And it's like, come on now.
But they even spin it on the same thing with that, where they took Tasha and they made her love a lifestyle rather than be in love with her man and not want to support him and wanting to go clean. And that's the reason he gonna turn tail and go do what he did. I agree with you 110%.
No offense, my baby broke as hell, but I still love his broke ass.
Hey, wait a minute.
Wow. This is why I'm gonna enter the gunshots.
I just think looking at this whole Ruby Rose situation as a negative when they should be looking at it as a positive, when society not being able to accept change and different, and they really don't understand how people relate to a gender other than what they are. You gotta take baby steps. Like, have
a problem with her if she doesn't play the role well and then doesn't represent your community, because she should be at every LGBTQ event. You know what I'm saying? Anything, and she should be championing that community if she's gonna get that role. And as far as I know from her, from what I can only go by what I see. You know what I'm saying? And she is doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't see why you have an issue. Let her push your cause further. Sometimes it's just what you have to do to get your voice heard.
Right. especially if she's a hell of a microphone.
Exactly.
Because she talks, somebody gonna listen.
Exactly.
She's in the biggest movies right now. She was the only good thing about the Meg.
Yeah, and
I only good thing.
I totally understand. Like, I understand both sides because I totally understand the people who have a problem with her playing that role. Like, if Black Panther would have came out and Black Panther wasn't black, I would have been looking like, what the hell? Like, it's called Black Panther. Like, shouldn't there be something up in here? Something like, I like that most of the villains, the main villain in Black Panther was black. Like, I like that Black Panther was black. I like it was like in an African community. Like, would people have perceived that as well had Black Panther been white?
Oh, it would have been a hell of a backlash.
And that's what I'm saying. So I can understand both sides.
But see, here's the question. Like, this is what I was earlier.
Black. Now, see, that's the thing. For people who didn't know who Black Panther was, if the movie was called Black Panther, and let's say that in the comics, Bucky was the one who was the Black Panther, would there been you know what I'm saying? Would there been outrage from the African American community if the story was written about Bucky in the comics?
I think people who don't follow it would have had a problem with it because they would have saw black and thought black was what was, you know, they were expecting a black person. But watching Bucky and the actor that they played Bucky, had I seen Bucky be Black Panther, I wouldn't have an issue with it because Bucky was badass. Okay? Bucky could have been Black Panther. But with people who only see color and they hear about a movie called Black Panther about black people and most of the cast is black, I think other people would have had an issue with that.
Yeah, I'm still tripping off the outrage of, okay, I know she has. Have you, Mr. Trail, seen Infinity War? I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Oh yeah, we went together.
Absolutely.
I made him.
I'm just making sure. The outrage that people got, spoilers for anybody who has. If you ain't seen it by now, screw you.
Comcast and rent that shit because it's on cable.
For the people that had the outrage because Black Panther died at the end of Infinity War. My thing with that is that how can you be outraged about that if you were a fan and watched all these other movies, right? Because this whole thing is to set up about the original core Avengers. But I got people that's boycotting the next Avenger movie because Black Panthers died.
Now, see, that's just. So I don't know how stupid I can call that. You know, without jeopardizing. I got to be careful with my words. But what logic do you have behind that? What is your push for wanting to boycott the next movie because they're going along with a story that's been written for years? You know what I mean? Like, all they're doing is playing a movie. Like, don't you want to see what happens?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I on the other hand, can understand the outrage of that, but only for knowing the storyline, only for extremely selfish purposes. Like, you can't hide, knowing that Black Panther is eventually going to quote unquote die, you can't cast somebody as sexy as he was and then kill him. What are we supposed to look at? Okay, I was mad.
What are you supposed to look at? You still got Chris Evans. You still got Chris Hemsworth. You still got every piece of man candy that y'all been looking at for the first 10 movies.
But did you see all that chocolate?
They killed all the women except for Scarlett Johansson.
That was a close one, man. I was holding my breath. You better not fall. I
was gonna be boycotted. The only woman that I was mad about them killing though was Wanda, because in Xfinity Wars, Wanda got sexy, and I was like, okay, I see you, but I wasn't mad about nobody else except for her and Black Panther.
No, I understand why they got rid of a lot of the characters that they got rid of, because a lot of power sets and a lot of intelligence mess up. Make it a little bit too easy to overpower the villain. It's the same thing like in Civil War. They sent Thor and Hulk away because either team who had one of them on their team was going to win Civil War. So it's understandable that Black Panther has way too much intelligence, way too much power. You got to get rid of him. Wanda is just OP as hell. You got to get rid of her. Star-Lord deserved to die.
I swear. I swear. They could have killed. They killed like everybody in that movie. I wouldn't even mad about not one of them. Like, no.
They set that up so perfect, man. But
wait, I got a question.
I'm glad he gone.
I got a question that maybe only you can answer because I actually have not looked into it. And so I'm not 100% sure. And at the end of that movie, I was very confused as to whether or not Stark actually dies. He didn't go away like with that dust shit, but he had that wound when he got stabbed with that shit. Like, does he die?
No. He actually sealed his
I saw him
like he cauterized the wound.
I was like, how long that gonna last? He on a whole nother fucking planet.
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell they gonna get back.
Yeah. That's just what I'm like.
So he just sitting there like,
he's sitting there with he probably needs some real medical attention sooner or later. Like, how he gonna get back home?
He got something of that capability in that suit.
Okay, that's what
I hope he got food from.
Right.
Because they're gonna be hungry.
And he lonely too. Everybody fucking that was there died with him. Like, he was the only one left standing there.
He was, because Groot, Rocket Raccoon was on Earth. Was it just him?
Yeah, it was just him because they killed Spider-Man, they killed Star-Lord. Who else was there?
Yeah, everybody else is gone. He was the only one left.
Yeah, they killed that girl with the funny thing. Like, he was the only one there left where he was.
Hey, you want me to blow your mind right now with a theory? But I don't think it's gonna happen. But it's just a theory that I was messing with my own head with.
Go ahead.
None of that stuff happened. That all was Doctor Strange seeing what he had to do to see what happened. And that's why you keep hearing you should have went for the head. You should have went for the head.
Yeah.
Even though I know that's not going to happen because the Ant-Man movie basically disproved that.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on with the particles and stuff that they got to collect, that's going to be able to let them time travel and all that. Because the only reason he didn't turn to dust is because he was subatomic. He basically didn't exist in the universe because he was in a different universe. He was subatomic. So hopefully we'll see what happens. It's a lot of stuff that can happen in that.
So I mean, it makes sense because, like how you said, like that part when he was sitting down and he ran through all the millions of different scenarios.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he still said what, one? They got one.
Yeah. He said one out of like 40 million.
It was ridiculous.
Millions. So
yes.
He's basically what? Did he die? He didn't die.
He did die.
Yeah. Dr. Strange died.
You motherfucker. But either way, I'm pretty sure when they was having that conversation after he told them what to do. You know what I mean? And how not to lose. So
no, I don't think he did tell them what to do, because the thing with Doctor Strange is even when stuff happens through time, he knows that you can't change it. Time is fluid. And the way Stark is, if you let him know what the future is, he's constantly going to try to change it. Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to set this on a path to go for that one direction and then pray that Stark does what I need him to do in order to have that one thing succeed.
Yeah, because I think
you got some work cut out.
I think if they did know, and if he did tell them like how was one way to beat him, then they would have got Star-Lord, old dumbass, quick as hell, just told him like, look, bro, your girl dead, but we finna get him.
No, they would have knocked his ass out. I swear. Can't come.
Like,
you gotta stay at home.
He was too much of a liability.
Yeah.
So he couldn't have told them.
Yeah, I'd have told him, like, you gotta stay at home, bro. You're gonna sit this one out because you're too fucking stupid.
Man, so stupid.
But you gotta understand, that man was in love without ever being able to tell her that you gotta. If Thanos is Kiki's pops and goes throw him off a cliff, and it comes back to you like I had to kill her, you're vamping out. You're going completely crazy.
Absolutely.
What the fuck?
Absolutely.
And I will come back from the dead and whoop your
at a
ass.
moment, but if I see at a moment where y'all winning, like I'm gonna help y'all destroy this motherfucker. I'm not gonna fuck it up. We need to get this shit off of his arm. It needs to come off right now. They're getting it off. You know what I'm saying? She doing her thing. She got him sleeping his little happy zone or wherever the fuck he was at. Snatch that motherfucker off, and then it's all game.
Right, because I would hope
you know what I'm saying?
I would hope you would
we're gonna jump the shit out of his ass.
I would hope you would realize that I'm already dead. So
like dead for real.
Like you finna be mad and kill off the whole half of the population.
Right.
I'm already dead, bro. Come on now.
Hey, my woman go, everybody
I
gotta
swear,
go.
like
He said, fuck all y'all.
I swear, like come on now.
Like he was gonna be able to punch him to death.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
y'all just dropped a ship on this motherfucker.
Right.
Like not a scratch. Brush it off. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. This is gonna be
nothing at all. Nothing at all, man. It's crazy.
And then he poured like whole moons or earths or whatever that was down and got y'all under all these rocks and stuff, bro.
Oh.
So let me ask Kiki a question.
I wanted to marry him in the first place.
Because this is getting interesting to me.
Oh, no.
What all comic book TV shows are you like religiously watching right now?
Right
I'm
now,
in and out.
Well, I got more behind my belt than I do in front of me. But right now, which I refuse to watch it because I thought it was gonna be bullshit. But I'm like at the end of the third season of it now. Right now, I'm watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm all caught up on.
You thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was gonna be?
I did. I did. I really did.
You about to hang up on us.
I don't know why, but I really just thought it was gonna be garbage. But I mean, I've seen all the Arrow, all the Flash, Black Lightning, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. Like I've watched them fucking all.
Have you ever got to check out any of Legion, The Gifted, Runaways?
No, so I feel like nothing to be on my list next. I'm gonna need you to message me them names.
Well, The Gifted is now owned by Disney because Disney bought Fox. It was on Fox. I think Legion comes on FX. It's about Xavier's son.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. What was the other one? The Runaways is on Hulu.
Okay.
What is the Runaways,
I
man?
feel
Because
like I've heard about that.
What is that?
Is that one where you have like a bunch of multi-powered people?
A bunch of kids with different powers.
Okay, I think I've heard about that.
And like their parents are trying to like sacrifice them to a god or something like that.
Okay, no,
to gain power and ability.
Okay, I haven't heard about that one. I'm gonna have to watch that one.
It's a really good comic. I was iffy on the first season. I checked it out. It was actually well written. The kids in the cast actually did very well. It's worth a watch, and it's not a long season. It's like 12 episodes.
Oh, bet.
So it's something you could run through right quick. If you need a Hulu password, holla at your boy. Sprint gives free Hulu.
We've been paying for fucking Hulu all this time. Shit.
Hey, we got it. What?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of good stuff on. And then you still have the stuff that's coming on the DC streaming service, Teen Titans, Titans, Doom Patrol, Young Justice is coming back. I think that's really it. And then the big news is that next year, I think Daredevil is the last. I don't know if they're gonna stay on Netflix. What is it? No. Ant-Man is the last Marvel movie to come to Netflix. And then they're pulling all their stuff to their streaming service because we're buying Fox. They got Hulu as well.
Oh, okay.
Damn. That's a hell of a deal.
Right?
They're genius motherfuckers.
I just hope they don't change it too much. You know, Disney kind of frou.
Nah.
They've been doing pretty good.
They haven't changed anything. You got to remember, Disney's in charge of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're in charge of all the Netflix shows, the Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Iron Fist. They're the ones running all of that. So they're not gonna change nothing.
I didn't know that Disney was in charge of all that.
Yeah, that's all Disney properties. Disney owns Marvel.
Okay, that works. Okay.
They just own everything else now too, like the Simpsons and everything else.
Damn, they making bank.
Yeah, that's a good move.
That's interesting because Trail, you never been in touch with your nerdy side
at all. And I be
like,
and I be trying to tell him, baby, watch this with me. Oh, I'm not trying to watch that.
Now see, when this goes back to fucking Smallville. When you was on your Smallville binge, and I got to watching that shit, and it was pissing me off because it's like, you fucking Superman. Why are you such a bitch?
Because he's Superman.
No. Like the young.
Now hold on. Now see, that's where you're wrong, and that's where a lot of people fell off on Smallville. And I know Keegan can agree with this. He was not Superman. Smallville is his journey to when he became Superman.
Right, but man, like
it was good.
It was good. I actually liked it. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you.
For me not to be a Superman fan, I was in love with Smallville. Like I was watching Smallville when that shit was coming on like CW. Like right. I watched it while it was on TV, and then went and bought all the seasons.
Like when it comes to the movies, like I'm all for it. I even still watch the old corny Batman movies. You know right. what I'm saying? With Mr. Freeze, because that was just not right. That was wrong. They ruined that Batman movie. But all the movies and everything, I always been in touch with my nerdy side, flipping through the comics and all that and everything. But when it comes to the TV shows, you know what I mean? It's like it takes away, it adds to the stories a little bit. It gives you a little bit more about the person as opposed to the actual superhero, but it kind of takes away from the superhero to me. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't. It makes them more relatable to be able to see like their background, their lives, and how they go from being a superhero to normal person. Like you refuse to watch freaking Arrow, and Arrow is a really good show.
I couldn't get into it. I tried, but I just couldn't get into it. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't the Arrow that I wanted to see. Put it like that. You know what I mean?
How is it not the Arrow you wanted to see? And the original Arrow, Green Arrow, is a freaking cartoon character. At least this dude was.
Yeah, but it was so
drenched in reality.
You know what I mean? Like it put too much light. It didn't. His character wasn't as dark as what I'm saying, I expected to see.
But that's why you gotta watch it, because if you look at his background, like in his normal life, he was an asshole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just like Batman character, Batman character is like when Batman is Batman, like he's really dark, but then Bruce Wayne is a dick.
They always kept it dark with Batman, no matter what Batman you was watching. You know what I'm saying? Well, except the TV series years ago. We don't count that. But like else, even with the new cartoons they're making, like it is dark. It is Batman all the way. You know what I'm saying?
But that's how it is. No, not necessarily, because Batman is Bruce Wayne is just the arrogant rich boy that likes fuck bitches and be all partying.
And then Batman is dark.
Right. And so if you like Batman,
the same way Robin changed. When Robin, you know what I'm saying, and he was done with Robin. I'm not Robin anymore. He got dark like Batman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the Arrow. I wanted him to be darker.
But he was dark in the very beginning.
No, hold on. Now, see, that's what I don't understand. Why would you want the Arrow to be dark? And in the comics, the character was never dark. He was never dark. He was never dark. No, he wasn't. He was the wisecracking, lighthearted that shot boxing glove arrows at people.
But hold on. When it came down to the fighting part, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, wisecracking, that's cool, but if it's really wisecracking, then you got Spider-Man for that, you got Flash for that. Like they got it, you know what I'm saying, down
but
flat.
That's exactly how Green Arrow was in the comics.
And even if you look at Green Arrow, like as Oliver Queen, like Oliver Queen is not a very happy-go-lucky, sarcastic person. Like he's serious, like all the fucking time. And then when he comes to be Green Arrow, like in the beginning, him becoming Green Arrow, he was dark because he was out there killing motherfuckers.
Yeah, I honestly can't tell how you thought it wasn't dark enough when dude done had everybody in his family get murdered, and he murdered left and right.
Murder right in front of him, like.
Well, yeah, we've seen that before. But like when I would come in and out when she watching it, you know what I mean? It was more about Oliver than it was Arrow, you know what I mean? Or if he working on something, like he got a list, you know what I'm saying? And from what I hear at the beginning, he was working on that list.
He was.
You know what I'm saying? He was doing a good job on that list. But I ain't seeing that part because like what I saw.
Because see, that's the thing. You didn't keep coming. He found out that the list wasn't even real. That was more to what was going on, and he started to grow as a character himself. See, I think, and a lot of people have this issue. They come and they watch a show like this, and they're expecting to see a character that's been developed. They want to see the character that's been around for 60 years. But what this show was, is took you back to day one and let you see how he developed into the character that we have today. Mm-hmm. So he's not gonna be all that and do all that, because there's a lot of people who didn't know who the hell Oliver Queen was until the show came around, and now comic sales are up. He's one of the most played characters in video games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just dope, and it's
badass. You know what I'm saying?
It is the best.
When he was
it's the best Arrowverse show on television. It is constantly consistent. It had its down sparks, but as far as storytelling, it's constantly consistent. With something like Flash, Legends, or anything like that could be all over the fucking place.
Yeah. What about this this Arrowverse you're talking about? Like, what shows are connected in it? Because I know you said it was a couple of them that you wouldn't watch that episode because
that was the tie over. That was called Crises on Earth X, where they had an episode. It was 4 episodes. Mm-hmm. And it was on Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. So I would just skip those episodes and then watch it all at once since it was on Netflix. See, that's why you gotta watch it. It's good. So
basically, you said they're bringing all this together and they're gonna throw it in Gotham. So
basically, what they're doing is they're making Gotham canon by bringing Batgirl in. They done already had references to. They done had Oliver say when they were trying to come out and peg him as the Arrow, he said, "Who do I look like, Bruce Wayne?" You know what I'm saying? With some things like that. Like they done had that, but they're just looping, connecting the world. The only show right now that's not connected with the universe, is in the universe, but it's not connected with it right now, is Black Lightning. But they already hit the stasis that there are different Earths.
Yeah.
Just like Supergirl, I forget what Earth she's on, but there's different Earths. Supergirl's on a different Earth. Everybody else is on the same Earth. So Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Arrow, Black Lightning, and now Constantine is canon within the Arrowverse world.
Yeah. See, that's a lot that I missed out on. I didn't miss out on a whole lot of shit. Why does shit keep popping up?
That's why you gotta watch it. And I be telling you to sit here and watch these shows.
Hey, I'm busy. I've been busy. Let me get some.
So try like take this time right here to go ahead. Is there let us know who you are, what you do, and if you got anything, plugs or anything that you want to give out.
All right, man. Well, you heard it. I'm Trail. Right now I've been kind of low key, man. You know that, just been writing and recording and everything, trying to get these projects together, working, living life. As far as any plugs, man, just look me up on Facebook for now, man. Kentrell Settles. You type in TRELL, you should see my ugly face in that motherfucker. And just ride through that right now. I've been off of social media, you know what I'm saying? I've just been focusing pretty much, man. I got an album out coming out called 11. So hopefully I'll be done with that soon, man. Granted, if everything keeps going smooth and I don't throw songs off and replace them with other songs. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's what it do. I want to appreciate y'all for coming on. Kiki, I want to have you back soon. I don't know about Trell though.
I have some catching up to do.
Yeah, definitely. You got a lot of catching up to do, bro.
Add more to the conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back with you, Kiki, after you catch up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You didn't ask me what I do. Why? Because I don't be rapping. It don't matter.
I'm sorry, Kiki. Would you like to do plugs? What do you do? Daily basis? Anything you would like to say?
I eat, sleep, and work.
There you have it.
In a nutshell.
That's what it do. I want to thank both you guys for coming on. We're gonna be right back to talk about all the Guardians of the Galaxy being pushed back and the terrible events that happened with the shooting in Jacksonville. So stay tuned. This is NerdMIx.
Too far.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just want to thank you again for tuning in to that episode of NerdMIx Live. And I want to tell you about this amazing thing I had. I had this young lady, Angie from Angie's Trifle Desserts, send me over this wonderful, like, peanut butter thing of heaven that was just delicious, man. And I just wanted to make sure that I gave her a plug and let y'all know I'm not getting paid to do this. Know how good it was. Y'all can check her out on Facebook. Let's see if I can get that to come in. At Angie's Trifle Desserts. Go ahead and find her on Facebook. It's only like $20, and you get like she's got 2 flavors right now. She's working some other flavors, but this peanut butter cup one right there, if y'all can get that in there, right there, was just amazingly delicious, yo. She's definitely working on some other flavors, but the peanut butter one and the dirt Oreo filled. The one I had was peanut butter cup filled with peanut butter, mousse pudding, whipped cream, Reese's Pieces, homemade fudge brownies topped with Reese's cup chunks. Delicious. She also has a dirt Oreo one filled with chocolate pudding, Oreo cookie crumbles, whipped cream, homemade fudge brownies, and gummy worms. But she can do them without the gummy worms as well. A small dish feast serves 5 to 10. Large one serves 10 to 15. An extra large serves 25 to 30, 15, 25, $30 alike. Make sure you guys go check her out. She's located in the Chicagoland, West Indiana area. Angie's Trifle Desserts. Make sure you guys check that out, alright? So until next week, as always, homies, it's been a NerdMIx. And we're back. Again, I want to thank Trell and Kiki for coming in and doing that with me. I can't wait to have them on again, especially after Miss Kiki's up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to really think about how she thinks that's going. I love the show. As you guys know, I review it for A+ opinions, so I'm down for anything Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Be looking for the review that I'm going to do for Iron Fist next week after it drops. I normally have it up normally the same week that it drops. I go ahead and I binge the entire season and let y'all know how I feel about it. That also will be shown over at A+ opinions, so be looking out for that. Let me know what y'all think about this conversation I just had with them and the topics and stuff that we hit. How do y'all feel about Idris Elba possibly being cast in the next Bond? How do y'all feel about the Ruby Rose situation? Do y'all see both sides? Do y'all on one side lean to another? We're here for that type of conversation. So put it down in the comments below. And you know what I'm saying, I'll take the top comments and I'll talk about them, and you know what I'm saying, we'll divulge on that more on the next episode of NerdMIx Alpha. But right now, I brought in Brother Rick from the Syfytology crew and my man, Forsaken Powers. You know him from Anime Assembled, that podcast we do with each other. And we went into the James Gunn situation, where we think Guardians of the Galaxy might go now that's been pushed back. And we got into the Madden shooting again. Prayers to all those who were affected. Rest in peace to the 2 lives we lost. And we really got to find out something what we can do about this. But it's not, as the gaming community, we need to come together and figure out what we need to do so that they don't try to do it for us. But let's get into that. And I'll be right back with you guys. And I hope you enjoy this. All right? NerdMIx. Welcome back, Nerd Mixers. I hope you enjoyed that little thing that we had right there. I had to go pay the bills right quick. But wanted to get in kind of something, brought in a special guest, my Ages of Flashpoint podcast co-host. Well, actually the leader. I'm the co-host. Brother Tig, what's going on?
What is the dealio? Thank you for having me.
Man, you know how it is. We got to show love to each other. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to come join us on NerdMIx Live.
Yeah, in between Walmart runs for school and then sleep eventually. I ain't worried about it. It's all gravy. I like that shirt you're wearing though. That's pretty dope there.
Yeah, you mean that order of Syfytology shirt that
yeah.
Our Etsy shop right now?
It's
just search NerdMIx.
Hashtag Syfytology.
Syfytology. We got one more person that wants to join in. For some reason, he's saying he didn't get the invite. I'm going to go ahead and invite him right now. And while I'm doing this, I just want to give a little background on what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to start with Guardians of the Galaxy and the James Gunn situation because we have bad news, guys. As of right now, I believe that they had started pre-production. They turned around, sent everybody home, stopped production, and pushed the movie back. I don't understand exactly what that means when we didn't have a release date for the movie anyway. Are we getting pushed back to later in the year, or are they pushed back to like they're not even going to do the movie until they get a director?
Well, it's worse than that because not only are we going to have to find another director, from what but even Batista's been saying, they're not going to use the script. They might be scrapping James Gunn's script. So you talk about being in pre-production. Now you're going back to square one. Now anything that maybe Feige had worked out based on that, you're probably losing that too. Depending on just how deep the writing for James Gunn's stuff falls into the whole spectrum of what's going on with phase 4. I mean, you could be talking about a lot of issues that have to get done. Bringing a team in to hurry up, rewrite a script. And I mean, you know them, they're always working. So even if they weren't full on production with the movie, I guarantee there was stuff that was being put in place. Maybe some sort of training if there's going to be choreographed fights involved. There could be a number of things that are just gone off the table now that they're going to have to start from scratch.
That's really scary because we've had the cast come out and say that if Gunn wasn't going to be there, that they had to use the script, or some of them would not be returning.
They're contracted. I don't know if they can just not show up to the movie. And then let's not forget that's the Marvel check right there that they'd be turning down. So who knows if they would follow through if it was all talk or not. But I guess that's one thing we'll see. I mean, Batista's the one who really came out and said that, and I kind of believe him. he ain't no punk. You know what I mean? He doesn't need this movie. He can be happy doing whatever he was doing before.
Right. Wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I know he tried being in a couple of other movies. And I don't know how that fared out, but he's somebody who could always return to wrestling and make a paycheck if he needed to.
If he really needed to, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I want to know. It scares me because I want to know with how much they plan. Does that mess up anything that we already saw that they put in place to go? Because I know that could possibly no Adam Warlock, and they were already setting that up. Could that mean no Nova, or could we get one of the alternate Guardians of the Galaxy crew members that, you know what I'm saying, isn't necessarily the one that we're familiar with.
Well, hey, I think he was already setting that up. He even said that this would probably be the last iteration of the team as you know it in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But if anything, the way movie execs work, and I don't know how much Feige had his hands in specifically the story writing, but the way movie execs work, if this team is working, they'll keep the team now. Maybe they do go forward with this, but I don't see him dropping out team members now like James Gunn would have. I see him doing that. I see him dropping 2 or 3 members, and maybe Gamora comes back and whatever it may be. Maybe the rest of them are gone, and then he stays. Oh, we have another
that was loud.
very loud, abrupt visitor.
I tried.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Forsaken?
What's up? Sorry it took me so long. Technology's a bitch.
Technology sucks.
It's all good. Basically, right now we're just going over the James Gunn. Well, we went over the James Gunn firing already, but we're going over where we think they're going from them, because now when it comes to that, they're not even going to use the script. We got actors saying if the script isn't used, that they aren't going to be part of the movie, and how this could shake up Phase 4 for the Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the things that Brother Tig was just saying is that James Gunn was probably going to shake up some of the members anyway, with Gamora gone and possibly coming back later, because I don't see the reason for bringing her back right at the end of the next Infinity War movie or whatever they're going to call it, or bringing her back and having her leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was thinking more towards that latter aspect where she would break off, you know, she need time alone after the whole, you know, my dad just kind of killed me thing. You know, I figured she wouldn't just hop back into the groove of everything, you know, like nothing happened, you know. So, yeah. I can see it though that they're going to do a lot of switches what's that one lady? She I always forget her name. She's the one that with the mind power. Yeah, I feel like something's gonna go on with her character, and she's not gonna be around anymore. I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of switch ups to it. I do agree though that Gamora is not gonna be in the picture.
Like Tig said, the only one I believe standing up to that threat is Mr. Bautista. I'm going to pronounce his name right because he's a big dude, Mr. Bautista. But even if I'll trade Batista for Nova in a heartbeat.
That's also true.
For Nova in a heartbeat.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. I would too, to be honest.
But could we lose Star-Lord? Because I could see it be written with Star-Lord and Gamora left together. You could have. I feel like they're already setting it up for Rocket to captain this team.
I agree with you on the aspect of Rocket captaining the team, but I don't think Gamora and Star-Lord are going to separate together. Just for the aspect, I feel like because she's going to want that alone time, she's not going to want to be with Star-Lord when everything goes down and out.
I might not have a choice. That dude went. Did you see the expression on his face when he was like she's dead? He didn't care nothing about half the universe. All he wanted was revenge for her being dead.
I completely understand that aspect, but it just the whole if she doesn't want it to happen, she was the master. She was one of the master assassins for Thanos. If she wants to disappear, she's gonna disappear.
but to be fair, even though she has daddy issues, technically she did get the father's stamp of approval. Right before he phased out, he goes, "I like you." That's the ultimate dad stamp of approval. Yeah, I'm just saying.
This is true, but I don't know, man. I just feel like she's just gonna have so much shit going on in her brain that she's gonna want to seclude herself, like how Red Skull got secluded up on Vormir.
He didn't want to be secluded though.
She want that seclusion. That's how I feel.
I feel like she's in love with Star-Lord and doesn't know how to say it. And that may be the one person that she doesn't want to be away from. If they wanted to write it like that, either way, I feel like it would work. As long as can I get a? I could see us actually getting a Guardians of the Galaxy with a Nova and a Captain Marvel instead of an Alpha Flight, where instead of Alpha Flight, Captain Marvel is running with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That would be what's up. That would be pretty dope, especially because like with Captain Marvel gearing up to be like officially join the MCU, just the aspect of her getting into other kind of like crosshairs of everything, like Guardians of the Galaxy, for instance, that would play big onto her connection to the rest of the whole entire MCU. So I can see.
Rick,
I'm actually thinking farther than that. You're thinking maybe how they still fit in there from here on out.
That's fair.
I'm of the opinion maybe we don't get anything Guardians of the Galaxy after number 3. Maybe we use number 3, you get your Adam Warlock drop, you get some sort of Nova drop, and then that's it. Let's distance ourselves as a movie company away from this film and franchise started by a guy that we had to fire. You know what I mean? What if that's the route they take? If they like to, they can still make their own side deals with Star-Lord. Why did I just forget his fucking name? Chris something. There's so many damn Chris's.
Pick a Chris.
Pick a Chris. I mean, they really could. They could make their individual deals with characters as they choose to if they want to cross that line. And if not, good luck. They're Marvel. They're going to keep rolling.
True. See, all right, this is going to be a little out of there kind of thing. This is just a shot in the dark. But me and my buddy, we actually had like a little conversation of how they were going to introduce Captain Marvel into the Infinity War aspect. So we get to see how we don't get to see how Thanos retrieves the one stone from Xandar, I think it was. We don't get to see him get that stone, but we know that he basically demolishes the whole place, right? One of the Black Order, one of the really big dude, he has a color scheme very similar to Captain Marvel, that red, white, and blue. And me and my buddy were talking about how that might be like a memento from their battle. He might have got a cheap shot off of her on Xandar or something like that while they were she was defending the place. So I feel like that she'll probably have a bigger, in my opinion, she'll have a bigger role into the Guardians of the Galaxy team than, let's say, like the Avengers and everything like that. I feel like that might be how they would introduce her in her Captain Marvel, like a little sidestep towards the end or whatever, something like that. Just
I could definitely get that. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I honestly feel the only purpose for Captain Marvel, the only reason they even bringing her into the MCU, one is because it counteracts Wonder Woman, but they're bringing her in literally just to bring the Kree invasion in.
That opens up a lot more storylines if they start there.
That's the next phase. The next phase, the big payoff is the Kree invasion.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Me personally speaking, I was talking to you. I talked to both of you separately about this. I wouldn't have fired the man. I might have demoted him, not let him be the director, producer, still let him have some type of say with the script and everything like that, and just let him pick somebody else to direct the movie. But for what he got fired for, I don't see the point. It was too far in the past for me.
I don't think the firing would have happened 2 years ago. If this happens 2 years ago, or maybe even 2 years from now, the firing doesn't happen. Slap on the wrist, maybe some sort of public apology, a nice little note or whatever that he has to throw out there. If this happens at any other moment in this current climate that we got now, they probably would have let it slide, but they have to. They kind of have to.
Because this is something he prior already apologized for. This is 10, 15 years in the past.
Yes, 10, 15 years in the past, yes. But, I think the 10, 15 years in the past thing that's a valid excuse if you say, hey, I was only 19 at the time. 10 or 15 years ago, James Gunn was still in his late 30s. So it's not like he was a kid.
I mean, look at Robert Downey Jr.'s background. I mean, they let all that slide, but then again, he was a lot younger, you know, when all of that baggage that he has going with him right now. He was a lot younger compared to James Gunn when all that crap was going.
Yeah, but at the same time, James Gunn is somebody who idolized people like Howard Stern, who most of his life wanted to just be a shock jock. And that's the way he approached social media before he decided and he got a shot at being a director. Now, I mean, this is nowhere in the world of political podcasts. We fire this man from his job, but we make somebody who's, to me, says way worse things the president of our country.
But I feel like the reason why that they're holding him to such a strong standard was because the MCU, they have such a strict policy and guidelines for how their people have to act. I mean, because he plays a big factor into, you know, their whole entire universe. So, I mean, like, just like with the characters, I feel like they hold them accountable as well. Because his name, it's not just like he's just some random stick in the mud. He is known to people, like, who actually really dive into the MCU, dive into the movies and everything like that. You know,
I don't think it's that big. It's because somebody's digging in stuff to become famous to get people in trouble. Nobody that I've talked to, majority of people really even had a problem. Yes, some of the jokes were inappropriate, but even the joke about feeling like a 3-year-old peeing on you in a shower, you know what I'm saying? Like that gave me a total description of what the water pressure was going to feel like to me. And it was,
that's fair.
2 years old is too light, 5-year-old is too strong, 3-year-old is just like, it's like a little puddle on my, you know what I'm saying? This is stuff where we used to make fun of each other back in the past. It comes to a point where in our next conversation we're going to get into, people in nowadays and age, for lack of a better word, are just being raised as pussies. We have no backbone. We're sensitive to everything. And segue right into the next conversation.
That's a perfect transition right there.
Because the other day in Jacksonville, Florida, we had a Madden 19 tournament. And we had a horrible incident happen at this Madden 19 tournament just because somebody decided they couldn't take a L. Could you give me some little bit of backstory on what happened, Mr. Forsaken?
I mean, basically, this I guess you can call him a pro player at Madden. He's in this tournament. He got his little booty whoop, and he took an L. Got salty, shot up the place, because who likes losing, I guess. So he took it to the extremes. That's pretty much the short story right there. Just didn't want to accept defeat.
His name was David Cass, wasn't it? I believe, because he won.
Something dumb like that.
Yeah, he won a tournament last year, I do believe. I don't know. I don't remember which one, but I know he won a tournament last year. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't take for one, he had been hospitalized early in the year for mental issues. Okay. I know how hard it is to get a gun license and not have mental issues. But to still be able to get a license after being hospitalized for mental issues is crazy, because it said he had just renewed his gun license.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read the CNN report right here. David Cass, a 24-year-old gamer from Baltimore, Maryland, was in town for a tournament at the GLHF Gaming Bar at the Jacksonville Landing, a downtown shopping and dining complex. He walked past the patrons and other parts of the restaurant and opened fire on his fellow competitive gamers before killing himself. The shooting left 2 people dead, 10 injured from the gunshots, and 1 person with a non-gunshot injury. All the injured are suspected to have survived, he said. As bad as it is, it could have been much worse. Cat's motive in the shooting remains under investigation. The suspect had legally purchased 2 weapons in Baltimore over the past month, and one of the weapons had a laser sight that attached to the gun. Alexander Madden, a gamer who was shot in the foot, said the shooter lost the game of Madden in the tournament earlier in the day and was angry. He was kind of upset about that, so I'm guessing that had something else to do with it. Fans followed. Now, this was crazy to me. Fans followed an online streaming event posted on the website Twitch that abruptly stopped after 7 gunshots rang. One person cried out, "Oh, fuck. What he shoot me with?" Tony McDonald told Good Morning America he was a shooting victim who shot at the words. My first reaction, I heard the shots, I thought was there were firecrackers in here, and then I actually got hit, and I never been shot before, so I didn't know what to think, and I turned around and actually saw the flashes from the gun, and at one point just went into survival mode and just tried to make sure I was out of there. I have one huge problem with this, and this is one of the biggest things that makes me worried about these conventions and everything that we're going to, like when you go to ASIN and how we're talking about going to Comicpalooza and everything like that. What type of security did they have at this tournament that this man was able to walk out and walk back in with his guns and do this?
Well, I'll let you go first.
Speaking from Comicpalooza, when you walk in at Comicpalooza, and obviously you're at a Comic-Con, so there's cosplay everywhere. Everyone there on your way in is required to empty out everything. If you have a bag, they look through your bag. If you have weapons, for your cosplay, you're required to turn those in. If it's anything except plastic or like wood, I mean, they do a very good job at looking at everything. And if it's not legit, if it seems to be dangerous, they won't let you in with it. Take it back to your car. Good luck to you. Sorry, your outfit might be incomplete, but you're not bringing that nonsense into here. Now, what I don't know is what kind of Madden tournament this was. If this was a local, GameStop Madden tournament, there's not going to be any sort of security. You're going to be able to walk in and out as you please, which these teenagers are going to be doing anyways. So, I don't know.
This didn't seem like it was just a regular tournament.
No.
These weren't regular Madden players attending this tournament. I mean, the 2 deceased were Eli Trueboy Clayton and Taylor Spot Me Please Robertson, 22 and 27 years old. Nation renowned, I don't want to say world renowned because Madden isn't a worldwide thing, but you know what I'm saying, known in the continental US, the North America, as 2 of the best Madden players. But one of my things is it might not have been good security there. That could have been one of the issues. But anytime I feel like you have a crowd, you need to have some type of security. But my thing is more of how are these kids being raised to, and this is a grown man, how are you raised to react like this? I mean, really, what is your heart pumping? Because the 3 of us have taken plenty of L's, forsaken more than anybody. I remember that Pharaoh to the
man, just as a side note, I did take another L for another Pharaoh earlier today. Just want to point that out. But going to the security aspect, though, just so I can bring up ASIN about it. Literally, congoers they could volunteer to be security for the convention at ASIN. Whether there's a big screening about it or not, I'm not too sure. I didn't go into it, but they do offer the convention goers to run security for the convention itself, and even more so, like trying to get into like the main hall for ASIN. It's not. There's no crazy security. They just ask you to flash your badge and you go in. As long as you got your badge saying, "Hey, I bought a ticket to go in," they don't care. They don't check your bags right away or anything like that.
I'm not going to ASIN.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. Really, how could you even plan for something like this at a Madden tournament?
Right.
You know, I mean, you're going to hear stuff in the news about security should have been this, security should have been that. I can't believe they didn't have that. Have you ever at a gaming tournament just not felt, you know, like, oh man, we're not at the club. We're not somewhere in the fucking on a block in a club. You're at a Madden tournament.
And it wasn't in a bad neighborhood either. It was in a pretty, it was in a decent community from what I was understanding. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like, I can't even, it's not like Gary, Indiana. It's not like, LA.
Whoa.
It's not like they're having the Madden tournament at the Copper Penny. Okay. This is a reputable spot that they were having it at. I don't know, man.
But it's still a bar that's serving alcohol.
That's true.
I don't care how inebriated you are, how drunk you could be. You ain't gonna be pulling out a gun with a laser sight and just shooting up the place.
It's been people in places, whether it don't matter where they're at. Being intoxicated can change your whole mind state on what you're doing. It's something true. Where if you already have that type of self-confidence issues and the liquor gets in you, somebody beats you, and then it's mad, and they talking shit like, oh yeah, you won that last tournament, you thought you was the shit, look at that, I beat you 20 points, get the fuck up out of here, little bitch boy. You know what I'm saying? And he got that liquor in him. He might walk back out there like, yeah, I'll show you who's a bitch boy. You know what I'm saying? It's just people are built like that now. But on top of that, this is another L the gaming community is taking.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Because now it's not just the violent shooting games, the fighting games, the nudity. This is Madden.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a sports game now. Oh yeah, all video games resort to you being a violent person in the future. All that BS that people keep trying to put on us.
You're talking about every competitive game ever not having an E rating. We're talking about we can end with, rated M games for anything that's competitive now. You talking about like Mario Kart, rated M.
Mario Kart, Smash Bros, dude, Smash Bros.
Listen. If you would have told me someone shot up a place over Smash Brothers, I wouldn't have been as surprised.
Nah.
Too soon? I'm sorry. Too soon? I'm sorry. Too soon. That's wrong. That's wrong.
You told me somebody got shot because they was trying to pick Yoshi in Mario Kart and I wanted Yoshi. You know what I'm saying? I could understand that too.
To be bogus, I'd laugh about that.
Wow.
To be bogus.
Yeah, dude, but like that just it's such a stupid reason, but I can realistically see that happen.
Take it with the heel turn.
Right.
It's just that's so like I could actually see that happen in today's society. Someone getting shot because they didn't get to pick Yoshi in Mario Kart.
That's the problem. Yeah. But what regulations, especially with the people that we have in office, could this happen with Twitch, Mixer? This can affect podcasters, streamers. This little thing right here, if they want to, they can use a spearhead to affect everything that we're trying to do. This can affect the whole culture because, again, this wasn't Call of Duty. This ain't something that we can explain away. Like I was listening. A lady posted on Facebook to her son. You see what happened? This is why I don't let your grandkids, when they come over here, play these violent games because stuff like this has happened. And then I'm reading this post like, this was Madden.
Yeah.
This was at the utmost. This was an individual. It had nothing to do with the video game, but everybody's gonna blame it on video games.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I guess we at this point we might as well boycott the Super Bowl, boycott every Sunday game, all that kind of stuff. We might as well boycott every other sport too while we're at it because they're going to be violent too.
We're already kind of doing that for other reasons.
Like
definitely boycotting the NFL. Sorry.
I mean, that's fair, but you know what I mean.
This is coming from two diehard Colts fans who, when they playing on Sunday, we'll be itching if we ain't watching.
You know what I'm saying? Like just in case you, I'm still boycotting the NFL.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about like the whole, whole, everybody, you might as well do that, or even like as simple as the damn cooking show. It's too violent because you're using a knife to cut the damn food. Like you gonna
put the lobster in the water alive.
Hey, look, no one ever got shot at a Paula Deen cookout. Okay,
man, you'd be surprised, bro. I guarantee I could probably pull something up. And
yeah, that's probably true.
Paula Deen cookout.
See, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No, but it's just I don't understand. I don't know what to do from here. Like, I'm worried about covering content. I was worried about covering this story because I don't know what because I'm upset because I don't know what happened to this kid if he didn't kill himself.
He'd be in jail 100%.
I don't know if he would be. I'm gonna be totally honest with you because I honestly think he was just locked up for having mental issues. He's gonna plead insanity.
Well, it said he hadn't been locked up since 2007. 2007, he went in for 2 weeks in like September, and another 2 weeks at the very end of the year, like between November and December.
Yeah,
and it was because of those the small periods of time that he was in there. With their state law says if you had been in some sort of mental institution for anything like that for more than 30 days, that would have stopped him from legally getting the firearms. Mm-hmm. But because he only spent 2 separate times 2 weeks apiece, mm-hmm. that red flag was never thrown up. And also, it was over 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Gotta let them gun laws.
Yep. And now, just thinking about how it might even, not to go political, but how it might even affect gun laws now, too.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's one thing that never seems like it gets affected no matter what happens. It just keeps getting easier to get them.
True. I mean, I don't know who exactly said this at the beginning, but like everybody pretty much knows this. No matter how hard you restrict gun laws, bad people are still going to find a way to get them. It's the same thing like drugs. If they want them, they're going to get them. You're just going to make it hard for the people who are going to abide the law to get them. That's really all you're doing.
People who abide the law shouldn't have no problem. That's the whole thing. People who abide the law shouldn't have a problem getting a gun.
But you're giving them the hassle to get it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it should be a hassle because what they need to do is increase time on gun charges. You need to make it harder for people to get a hold of their guns and then hold people accountable. I know a bunch of people. I don't know how we got on the conversation about gun laws, but I know a bunch of people who have registered guns, who have sold their guns, and then never let whoever they needed to let them know that they sold their guns.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Those same people who don't do that should be also held accountable, even though they have every right. They're innocent. They think they should be held accountable for not saying that they sold their gun because you don't know where that gun's gonna go.
True.
But you go to these gun shows and you be like, "I got this. You want it?" I don't.
Everybody.
I'm not gonna say I know how all the gun laws work. I know I legally possess, what I'm saying, my weapons. I'm legally able to carry. But you're telling me that if those gamers had guns on them at that time, that they would have been able to protect themselves. We all heard that story. The same people that died would have been dead because that was totally out of nowhere. And then how are you gonna protect yourself when the guy turned around and killed himself right after he let his clips off?
I'm not trying to advocate to make it easier to obtain guns. I was aiming more for the accountability thing. That's what I'm talking about. Being held accountable or being it should be. I wouldn't say like I don't know how to even put this.
No, I totally get what you're saying. It's just a hard conversation to have when it's not something that you deal with every day.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point now where us as gamers, comic book lovers, you know what I'm saying, nerds, geeks, everything pop culture, where it's slowly drifting into our world when it shouldn't have anything to do with what we're doing.
Right.
And now we're forced to have this conversation about something that has nothing to do with Game of Thrones coming back April 14th.
Yeah.
Or Arrow, the new season coming out October 7th.
October 7th, Mondays, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll make it a point because we'll be at Fandemic in Houston on September 14th. 14th, 15th, 16th, I believe is the dates. And that's like another. It's not really a Comic-Con. It's you know, like a bunch of different stars. It's not a full blown Comic-Con, but it's very in the same realm as that. So I guess I'll make it a point to get some good footage of how that's changed. And it'll be at the Toyota Center, which is a fairly prominent place here in Houston. So
yeah, 'cause that's something I'm doing now. That's something I never looked for. If I'm looking for security, it's to see how many bags I'm allowed to bring. You know what I'm saying? Or do I have to have everything in one bag? It's never to look and like, are you going to have enough for security just in case something happens? True, I'm just looking how long it's going to take me to get through security. But now I'm looking at these cons and everything, and I'm like, man, that security isn't tight enough for me to come here. I'm worried about my life.
Right.
I mean, even at ASIN, there's over 30,000 people attending ASIN. I mean, it's ridiculous how many people there are, and just to see maybe 2 security officers, like maybe every hour, you know, let alone, God forbid, you know, and they're just patrolling around sometimes. It's not even like only being able to see 2 of them. That's kind of unsettling. I mean, yeah, I understand. Okay, you don't really you don't expect any of us, like the nerd, geek, you know, all of us, not to be violent or anything like that. But just the aspect now, because of this situation, now everybody's going to be, you know, looking at us like any one of y'all can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they holding gamers in the same light that they're holding everybody else in? Now they think, are we just as dangerous? Now, are we all depressed or feel like got low self-confidence? Are you scared? Like, I watched people, I was decked out in my nerd armor today, and I went to a couple of doctor's appointments, and I had people looking at me. I'm used to getting certain looks, but normally when I'm dressed like this, nobody pays no attention. But you can see people looking a little nervous now, looking at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting down and everything like that. It's just another way to be discriminated against. Not only because of my skin color now, but now because I'm a nerd and a gamer, it's another reason to discriminate against me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
So, I don't know, guys. To everybody that was injured, to those lives were lost, I want to offer prayers and my condolences to their families and everything like that.
For real.
This was a horrible tragedy, and I'm just hoping that we can get everything fixed so something like this does happen again. I'm hoping that EA takes the time to immortalize those 2 gifted gamers in the game somehow, whether it's their names on, you know what I'm saying, the sideline or something like that. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. If they don't do something like that for these guys, or they don't do some type of donation or something to the family, which I personally haven't heard anything or nothing like that yet, right, I am not purchasing Madden this year. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, so I need to see something like that happen. So I hope they do that. But they already offered their condolences. They spoke up. IGN wrote a real nice piece about it. CNN wrote a real nice piece about it. And we just hope that things like this don't happen again. Any last words from you guys?
No. Same thing as you, man. Just want to give out my condolences to all the families that, you know, who lost someone or who had someone injured in the tragedy. It's very unfortunate that it happened, but I mean, we can't expect everything to go exactly how we planned, I guess. It's just unbelievable that it actually happened.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. Well, that's it for this section, guys. We'll be right back in a second. I want to take my two guests. I want to thank my two guests for coming in. Mr. John Forsaken Powers, my co-host on Anime Assembled, and Brother Tig, the man, Tigger Beats. You know him from Agents of Flashpoint podcast. Syfytology in the house hard right now.
Thank you for having me, man.
This.
Oh, yeah, for real.
As always, guys, for the order. For the order. Be right back. All right, guys. So that's gonna be the show for today. Let me go ahead and get these plugs in so I can pay the bills. September 23rd, if you are in Northwest Indiana region, Chicagoland region, you will have ToyCon Indiana show and sale. It'll be 126-foot tables, 35 10x10 booths featuring action figures, superhero toys, sports card, non-sports cards, comic books, TV and sci-fi related toys, Japanese toys, collectibles, and much, much more. If you guys get a chance to come out to that, it's going to be sort of a big deal. We don't have a lot of stuff around here popping like that in this area, so I'll be out there supporting. I'll be looking for anybody who's in NerdMix, into nerd and geek pop culture there. I'll be doing on-site interviews with people to see what you're into, what you're looking for. So if you're into that and you want to check it out, make sure you go to toycontoyshow.com for more information, and maybe you'll be able to pick up stuff like this there for the low. You know, all types of collectibles, just like all them collectibles and stuff that y'all see in the background right now. If you're into that type of stuff, check out toycontoyshow.com. Remember, September 23rd, 2018 is coming up real soon. As always, I have to plug my nerd shop. You like this nerd armor and stuff that I wear and all that? You want to be down with the NerdMix? Etsy.com shop, NerdMix. Go ahead and check that out. There's a bunch of stuff on there. Matter of fact, that convo ad I asked for y'all before about the Ruby Rose situation and everything like that, and that whole conversation with the interview I had with Cheryl and Kiki, post your comments below and what y'all thought about that. I'm going to take the top 3 comments, and each of the comments I'm going to read on the next NerdMix Live. And if your comment gets read live, I will be sending you NerdMix apparel in the mail for you to get, for you to rep, because you're down with NerdMix. All right, guys. So make sure you get on that. Make sure you check out Syfytology.com, at Syfytology on Twitter, at Syfytology on YouTube. It's the hub for everything nerd and geek pop culture, as is NerdMix Live. We're all the family right here. You can check out my news and reviews over at A Plus Opinions, at A Plus Opinions on Twitter. Hit them with the follow. Come over to the Facebook page over there. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. That's where all my reviews for everything that I do at. For The Gifted, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all the Netflix TV shows. I do all my video reviews and post them over there. You can hit Syfytology for the Flashpoint podcast, where we go in depth on everything in the Arrowverse, everything Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where we actually break everything down, you know what I'm saying, bar for bar, actually have intelligent conversations about it, you know what I'm saying. I really want to plug somebody, Coke 45 podcast. They had an amazing interview with Jason David Frank. If you guys want to go to the Facebook page, check that out. They have audio podcasts available everywhere audio podcasts can be heard, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Please take the chance to go check them out. If you guys want something plugged and it has something to do with nerd and geek pop culture or some local business, let me know. Contact information will always be in the description. If you don't want to wait then, you can just email me at nerdmix219@gmail.com and we can set something up for that. I do it free of charge. If it's something that I feel like needs to be heard, needs to be put out there, and something positive, I'm here for you. Let me know what's up. So guys, thank you for tuning in to the fifth episode of NerdMix Live. Make sure you follow me at NerdMix Alpha everywhere. It's NerdMix Alpha everywhere. All right, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Until next time, y'all, it's a NerdMix.